Hello, welcome to the One I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, wearing clothes. I'm wearing a hentai t-shirt because I like hentai. So I got, it's not my first, but when I get stuff related to the show, I like to share. So I got someone requested that I kill myself because I said at 34 years old, Irene should not be called a visual. If you remember a few videos back, but yeah, so I was getting some comments to kill myself because I said Irene is 34, and usually uh, it depends on the woman, but 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 is usually when women hit the wall. Now, it's different for every woman because some women don't take care of themselves, and then some take care of themselves. So the ones that take care of themselves, well, people in general that take care of themselves, stay healthy longer, and usually health equals looks. But there that does come a point where it doesn't matter how healthy you are. Everyone gets older and looks older, which is okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to K-pop visuals and just some pictures of Irene in the background, when it comes to K-pop visuals, it's usually a rookie group, a fresh face person, a new group, a group that has been in K-pop for like 5 years. Okay, so in that first 5 years, that's when the visual of a group becomes a visual. Even though when K-pop groups first start, the company says this one's the leader, this one's the visual, this one's the main rapper, this one's this, but those positions change throughout time because some singers actually do get better and they get more lines, and some people become better dancers, whatever. So sometimes a label is just a label. Like in we can take I for example. I remember when I first started, weren't they saying that Won Young was a visual, and then I was saying Lee Seal's the visual, and then now people are saying Lee Seal's the visual. Because it's like just within the first 5 years, like things change. I can't. I don't make the rules up. But anyway, and so since things can change, well, you can fall out of the visual position. At 34, Irene is just not as good looking as she was as 24. I don't know why that's so hard. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking or anything like insane. And you have these fans that uh, take it personal when you say anything negative about their parasocial relationship. You know, she's not ugly. It's just that we have options. Like K-pop is full of beautiful women. Okay, and it has nothing to do with the music. Red Velvet is I think the only K-pop group where I have all of their albums. And I'm not talking about where they take one album and cut it in half. Like I don't do that. Like when they put all the songs on one album. So like I have all their music basically. Okay, they're the only group. I literally have every Red Velvet song, unless they put out a secret song I don't know about. Okay, so obviously I like Red Velvet. Obviously, I have Red Velvet shirts, Red Velvet posters. I have big poster of Solgay. I have Wendy over there on my wall. I have Red Velvet. I have a poster of them over there. I have about six more posters that aren't on my wall because I need room for other people. So I just put that in the back. But because I said a 34-year-old woman should not be called visual, I am told to kill myself. K-pop is the most toxic. The parasocial part of K-pop, those fans, those might be the most toxic group ever. Like I'm talking more toxic. Like when I think of toxic groups, I think of um, I think of the gaming community. Like people who play World of Warcraft are toxic. Like very very toxic community. Overwatch, Blizzard in general. Blizzard games, they have a toxic community. Very toxic. People say like Call of Duty has a toxic community. So those are some very toxic communities. And then you have like I've heard like BTS Army, very toxic. Okay, just it's just something about certain online communities where if you say the wrong thing or you disagree with the group, it's over. You've committed a crime. You don't belong. If you compare Irene to the average person, if you compare the average idol to the average person, the idol's going to be a 10. The idol's a 10. Just to that, because the average person doesn't have a team making sure they're good looking. The average person doesn't get, uh, you know, free new clothes to wear, their hair done, their makeup done professionally, have enough free time to exercise, eat right, and just focus on being presented in a certain type of way. So the average person compared to any K-pop idol, the K-pop idol is going to be a 10, okay? But you are comparing Irene to other K-pop idols. So there is a difference. So, and I just keep using IVE as an example. Lee Seal from IVE is better looking than Irene. Yeah, I think the age does have a difference. I mean, I think the age does make a difference. If Irene was in her 20s, then maybe you could argue, but you can't. You definitely can't now. But we have to talk about the fan base. So obviously Irene has a very loyal fan base. So if you say something bad about her, it's over. Now remember, Irene, as far as I know, is the only K-pop idol. Well, she's probably not the only one, but the only one I know of who had a who was considered, or had that controversy where she was being labeled as mean or toxic to staff, and people wanted to cancel her, right? But what happened? She didn't get canceled. You know why? Because she's that good looking. So she is good looking. Okay, she's good looking enough to just disappear for a month or two and like apologize once, and the cancel mob got canceled by her fans. That's how good looking she is. But I can take a step back and go, you know what? There's about 20 other idols that are better looking than her. Okay, and then even when she was quote unquote at her peak, well, there were other idols better looking than her. But she has a dedicated fan base for sure. And then it did help that she had the marketing too, because she kept being marketed as the visual of visuals. But that reputation can't last forever. So you're telling me we're gonna hear stories of her at 45 going, "Oh, she's even better looking." No, because women don't get better looking as they get older. They just don't. They don't. Somehow men kind of get better looking as they get older because it's because men and women are different. It's just how it is. But anyway, so to the person who wanted me to kill myself because I said uh, that's Solgay, that's not Irene. That said I should kill myself because Irene is an individual. I want to apologize. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. I know you asked nicely, but I'm not gonna kill myself. See, and even in Red Velvet, okay, I think Wendy. I don't want to download the wallpaper. I think Wendy is better looking than Irene. Okay. I also think Solgi is better looking than Irene. So not even in her own group, she's the best looking one, but she's considered the visual. But I've all and see here's the thing, like I have Irene on my wall. I have Solgi on my wall. I don't have Irene on my wall. Okay? And so, I guess maybe I never thought she was a visual. I don't know, but I'm just not one of those people who like, okay, well, if you say she's the best thing ever, then I guess she's the best thing ever. Like, I can take a step back, look, and go, okay, well, I'm a guy, I like hot chicks. Who's the hottest chick? Okay, well, the hottest chick is Solgay and Irene. I mean, Solgay and Wendy. Irene's like third. Irene's the third best looking one. Even though they're all good looking, all five are hot chicks. Not gonna reject any girl in Red Velvet. Okay. But anyway, enough of that. So hopefully that person drinks bleach tonight. And then we had to talk about Minji. Okay, I don't think. And I said from the start when it came to the new jeans thing, my prediction that Danielle was going to be kicked out of the group or wasn't going to resign, I was right. I also said that Minji wasn't going to back when I made that first video. And I've noticed that it's taking her a long time and she's still negotiating with Hybe. And so the longer the negotiation takes, the higher the chance she's going to get kicked out. And see what I think is happening. I think now this is coming from insiders, so whatever I say, it's a grain of salt. That they want her to do some apologizing and stuff, but she remember she was the most vocal and had the worst attitude when it came to this leaving Hybe, and then Danielle as well. But like she doesn't want any like repercussions, and it's like it's a clash of egos right now. So you have people on staff who are mad at her, and then she's still mad, and then they want her to cut ties with Minhee Jin. Like there's it's basically she doesn't want to be told what to do, and the company doesn't want to be told what to do. That is the gist of it. And the insider is a friend who was friend of a friend of a former Hybe trainee. And that's all I can say. But they're a friend on my friends list. So it's basically like a girl who doesn't want to concede, and then Hybe doesn't want to concede, and they're both holding out. But the problem is Hybe has all the power, and so what I think or what we think is going to happen is eventually she's going to get kicked out. That's it. Yeah, so like Minji will eventually get kicked out the group because she's not going to do everything that they're demanding. And then also because of the lawsuit against Danielle, even though they're suing for, is it 30 million American dollars? Uh the thing is, Danielle has made enough money already for Hybe that it's going to really lower the court's decision if she loses about how much money she owes Hybe. Now, Minji has been a trainee the longest, so Hybe has the most money invested in her, but still, Minji has made a lot of money for Hybe. So let's say Hybe sues Minji for like 60 million, like, twice as much money. She's generated that money though. And then remember, New Jeans made the most money, or what was it, like the second most money or something like that. But New Jeans made a lot of money for High last year, and New Jeans didn't do anything, but they still generated millions of dollars. So that can offset however much they want to sue Minji. So even so what I'm trying to say, the lawsuit is not a determining factor in whether Minji's going to stay, because the court is going to lower whatever Hybe says because Minji made money for them. Okay. And then, so Minji quits or gets fired, whatever. She's still going to get sponsorships and commercials. So she can make, let's just be generous. She owes $10 million to Hybe. She can make that back really easily, which is scary though. So what's happening? She's going to be so demanding and not giving that Hybe is going to have no choice but to dump her, and it's going to make her, because remember, media play is very important in Korea, and so what we think is going on, she's going to be as difficult as possible to make Hybe get rid of her. Okay. But Hybe isn't going to go into detail. They're just going to say, yeah, we've come to an agreement. We can't work with each other. That's the prediction. But things could change. But that's what's going on now. Anyway, either way, she's really good to look at. And speaking of the visuals, Minji's better looking than Irene. Okay? Okay. But I think Hayan is better looking than Minji. So like there's just levels to all this. But yeah, like Minji's a very sexy girl. Would not turn her down. And I'll probably be told to kill myself because I said that. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.